This episode with Raul isn't about startups, it's about life. We talk about losing control, redefining success, and why innovation starts with perspective, not technology. If you've ever questioned what you're building and why, this one is for you. Is it weird for you to be like the face?
No, I'm not like that introvert, but I'm not looking for that. So many people try to get like the spotlight or something like that. I tried like, well, my team. I don't know if it's okay. With my team, I always put like, yeah, I'm a coworker and nobody like here, because I try to make us something systematic, not one person company, because I had a one person company. And well, we were like 30 people, but it was so tough. Like everyone wanted to talk with me because I will have the extreme ownership, accountability. But if you don't moderate that, that's also a bad thing. It's like everything with moderation, right?
Yeah, definitely. The extreme ownership, are you referring to, like, have you read the book by Jocko?
No,
No.
actually no. I've been like reading more like design thinking stuff, jobs to be done, and right now I'm more focused on vision, because right now I'm 37. Life passed like very fast.
Yeah.
And I lived in Europe, in North America, in California. I'm from Durango. I'm not from here, born and raised there, but I have like almost 18 years here. And right now I'm looking for less rush and more like, there's one word. How do you say? Legacy, something like meaningful. Something meaningful, and to handle life, family, because I got divorced because of work and that extreme ownership and being worried 24/7, because I felt like it was like an extension of me. And right now I'm more focused on doing business, great business, passion for it, but like having like perspective about life.
Yeah. There's points in life where it forces you to slow down, right?
I had this turnaround moment when I was having this divorce process, and then my father died on a car accident, and I was like, okay, I was worried about many things that will not happen, like where to have Christmas and so forth. And that's not gonna happen because, well, Christmas is gonna happen, but not for me, like, because I'm getting divorced. My father just died like from one moment to another, like in a car accident, as I said. And you're like, okay, you don't know if this is the last time that you will put your shoes on, right? And every day, every morning, I think about it, and I think that makes me feel more grateful and, how do you say, grateful and happy. Yeah.
What do you learn from those moments when, the unexpected happens, and how do you proceed in life with a new mentality?
I learned that I had many coworkers, but not friends. Many friends, but not real friends. And I'm not getting into it. Like, no, I had my support network, but I was so focused on myself that I missed a lot of things from my community, my family, my friends, and they let me know that. So I was like, oh, that's tough when you don't have like the how do you say, a stone to rest when you feel lost. And in that moment I was like, what am I gonna do now? Oh, and I found this support on spirituality, not religion, spirituality, I think. Yeah. I started to meditate, doing exercise, having this perspective about life. Like in any moment, I had a friend like had an accident and then he can move from that moment, and I was, damn, that can happen to me, and I'm just in this rush trying to achieve something that I don't know already what it is, because it's not the money. I think money is a result for creating value. As romantic as it sounds, I truly believe it. And that's why I pivot my business. I started with a marketing agency focused on the innovation and systems, trade marketing, videos, and so forth. But and I started like selling when I was 22, something like that, to local companies, and I ended up working with top global 500, right, uh, internationally and so on. And then I realized that, okay, I just marked my bucket list on marketing, and that wasn't like valuable because I could live through it.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is okay to say live through
Yeah.
through that work, but I felt like I was a self-employee, not a project that I wanted to develop. And then I choose to pivot to the digital transformation because I started a new startup of food through like Blue Apron of grilling, right? And I learned that people in Mexico and Latin America, we don't trust each other because like food, you can steal food, you can get stolen, you can, it's perishable. And people tried like, okay, you need to pay me up front and then I give you the product and I need to check the product if it's okay. We don't have like FDA certification, like it's common. Here you can find like, yes, we have some certifications, but you can find like not prime steak, that it's prime because it's certified prime. You will find like great steak, awesome steak, and so forth. And that's why I try to, how can I systematize the process, the business, through a network, a platform, like the big companies, because I work with big companies. They have SAP and Oracle and so forth, and they have these processes, but they are huge and they are heavy. And these small and medium enterprises like us, we didn't have a solution. And I'm saying like some names like platforms, Shopify and so on, are agile, but you don't have the processes and controls. So you need, I think you need more than just a platform. You needed like someone to help you to digitalize your processes. And yeah, I had this company, then this other company. That's how I got to California with the steaks company. And right now I'm full on digital transformation for small and medium enterprises in Latin America.
When did you realize, because you've had 5 startups, right?
Some born and growth, and some others like crashed in the
Crash and burn.
yeah in the beginning.
Yeah. But every time you learn something.
Totally. When I started, I thought, because I'm not from here, and I was like, okay, I need to pay my rent, my food, and so on. And I was thinking, well, people around told me like, oh, you need to have an employment to get employed, because you cannot live from your own means, because I don't have from my family. My family told me, when you get out of university, we finish. We're done with paying you, right? You need to find your ways, and that was great, because I started like before I graduate. I thought, okay, I need to find enough clients to live from my startup. So I had this goal to find certain amount of money from the startup to live for it. And it was 2010. And since then, I've been working by my own, with great people. But my own, I've been not employed by a huge company or a small company.
Do you think it's a different mentality when you don't have a fallback option? Like you said, your parents aren't going to give you money, right? So do you think you work harder or think about things differently when there's no other option?
Totally. Because if you don't do that, you will not eat. So it's like burning your bridges, like your chips. I don't know how's the phrase, but you don't have a backup option. There's always something, right? Like having for the banks. I also, before, asked my parents. I asked for banks even to grow the company, because I started like 2 people and ended up being more than 30 people in services, like specialized services. And yes, I think you need to have this like go all in or go big or go home mentality, because if not, it's like jumping a river. If you doubt it, you're more in risk to fall down than if you just jump as hard as you can. I think you have more chances to get into the other side, right? Yeah, I think.
It really comes down to mindset, how you think about things. If you think you're capable and you can, you will.
Yeah, and if you fail, you just fail. You're not a failure. I don't know if it's okay to say, like, yeah, you can, like, when you start riding a bike, you will fall down one another time. And when you start crawling or walking, you will fall down. But you need to know, a baby will not say like, okay, I'm not made to walk. I will walk like another time until you learn that there's no the way how to equilibrate, or I don't know how to say it, but yeah, you learn to do stuff. So I've had a lot of bad decisions, mistakes, a bunch, but I've always seen them like with ¿cómo se dice?
Say it in Spanish.
Como experiencia, like an experience, like something that teaches you something. If you feel that like you're a failure because you failed, that's awful, because all the way, like in personal, in family, in professional, in sports, you will fail. You will get mistaken many times until you do it okay. But even if you do it okay, that's not warranty that you will do it okay every time. But I think that's the way I see it.
You said something that's really interesting, which is a baby learning how to walk is natural. That's that, everybody expects that a kid will learn how to walk.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, and you're not thinking like, okay, maybe my baby, okay, there's some issues that you might see, but every baby, you can see it like trying, and you're like, okay, it's part of the process. When we grow, we see like trying, like you are forced to do it okay, and that's impossible. That's something that I've been working with some other people, because they are afraid to do something because they don't know. And I was like, okay, and you don't know it because you don't do it. So you're in this vicious cycle because you don't do it and you don't learn because you don't do it. And that's it. Even with an instrument, everything, I think everything. But when you grow and you start like feeling that you need to prove something, like, okay, I cannot be mistake. Like, even if you have a misstep, I don't like this. Yeah, so don't get like red and no, everyone can have a bad step. So that's something that changed in my life from that moment. From that moment, because I took my life like more relaxed, but more serious, because I think taking life serious is understanding that you're not under control of anything, that you can answer to situations, and always trying to do something that worked. Your best shot, even if you're wrong, if you're convinced that that's the way for the universe to have a value from you, from your action, go for it. Like, and if I'm mistaken, okay. I think cultural, here in Mexico, we have many people that study what parents say to study. That's something that I had like the privilege that my parents never ever tried to. They really respect what I did, like haircuts, painting my hair, going to like doing anything. It's like, okay, it's your life. I will try to guide you, but it's your life. So if you have this mistake, you will get out of it. You cannot come under your mama's skirt, yeah, and crying like, please help me. No, if you do it, okay, there's both sides of the coin. Like, you're free, and if you do it wrong, try to get it right. Like, yeah, I think that was a privilege for me, because I've seen many people with these issues, daddy issues, mommy issues, related to what to do in life. Like, okay, at this, that was I don't know if I'm going okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay, um, something that leads me to divorce, because I was like a manual. Like, you need to have children at this age. You need to go on vacation here. You need to, and I was like, damn, that's not me. Okay, if I'm sure about it, but not because everyone is saying that, or there's a manual, social manual here, like, because I've never follow a path, right? And that was something that made me feel like tight, because it wasn't like, okay, because this, it was because everyone is doing it. I never had that in my life until I got married, and then as soon as I realized, I got divorced, because I lost myself. I lost myself in that time, and I think it's hard, but it's better a hard time than a hard life, I think. That's new.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What you're describing in America, we call it, or a saying called white picket fence mentality, which is like, you buy at a certain age, you buy a home, you have a fence, you have, and then you build
Your
a
white fence,
family. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And you work your job 9 to 5 every day, and all of these things, and it's a structure that's built. And as we grow up, we're taught to normalize that, and that is what I want, that is what I aspire to, and that is all, right? It's a box,
Yeah, I've seen many people that looks happy, but they are suffering a lot inside. Yes, yeah, they are like very worried about everything in life, even when they are like privileged. We are in a country that many people uh, quejarse, like when you say something that that's awful here, and they're talking like it's not great here, but okay, you need to have perspective. There's first world problems, third world problems, and awful problems like war problems. And when you don't have even a nation, a country, you don't have bank account, you don't have a structure like in your life. So I think we need to learn more about it in order to create great things, great jobs, 9 to 5 jobs, but doing it like you mean it, like because you have this vision to create something through your work, or creating a company, a project, even a project. Like I've made a lot of projects thinking creating value and then became business. Yeah.
That's how the best projects are created, right? Or the best companies are built when you're simply solving a problem that lots of people have, that are efficient, cheaper, better, whatever the case. I'm curious, you've built or started 5 different businesses since 2010. And obviously you're focused on one now, and we'll talk about that. But what is the common thread? What is what stays the same for you in everything that you started?
Innovation, I think, but not this like invention innovation. It's like doing some tweaks to improve something, like digital transformation in Mexico, like in Latin America, because we need like not only a platform, but not only a consultant, not only hardware infrastructure. We need a mix, something special for that. And also the meat company, it was innovation. Like let's send something through mail, where we don't have the best mail services not even in 2015. We were the first in Mexico to do that, and that was awesome. Like that feeling when you see like your ads, or your people trying your product or your service. That's my thread. Like you said, the common thread for me is like creating something where's a pain, because one time I made something, a project where there was sent out, there wasn't a pain, real pain. So I learned like, okay, if nobody wants it, why does it need to exist? So I think first to find something to fix, to solve, and do it in an innovative way, like even in package, even in the process, in an innovative way. And I think every business needs to do it. Like now we have these innovation labs even in huge companies, and that's my thread to follow, innovation, thinking different ways to do and to solve problems. I think that would be.
Do you think what sort of mentality, how do you have to think about things to see everything as an opportunity or a challenge to solve, right? Because not everybody thinks that way, right?
Yeah, I think it's like when you see a 6 and a 9, like there's the same thing, the same figure, and if you're in that place, you will see the 9 and I will see the 6. Who's wrong, who's right? We're okay both. If you come this side, you will see the 6. If I come your side, I will see the 9. I think it's all perspective. If you see something like an opportunity, you can find an opportunity there. If you see something as a problem, you will find problems there. That's pretty much my way to think. I have a lot of problems, like any entrepreneur, legal, financial, with customers. But if you see like an angry customer, like a problem and not like an opportunity, I try to find like why this happened. How can we fix? How can this problem be a competitive advantage for us because many others has this same problem, like the company is giving the service. So yeah, I think it's an approach, a way to think, like design thinking more like a methodology. I see it like a way to think. Yeah, because any approach, anything in your life, you can turn around like an opportunity, a way to figure something new, or like a problem and like get drowned in a glass. I don't know if this is okay, that expression. Uh, yeah, something like that.
Do you think, because you're basically unlocking a different way, like you said, way of thinking when you're looking at the 6 and the 9, different perspective, etc. Do you think it's a blessing or a curse that you see things differently, and everything is an opportunity or a challenge to solve?
I think if you see everything from a negative perspective, that's a curse, because I've been there. I've been seeing, I had a lot of blessings in my life, and I was always worried, angry, scared. And then I started to change um, consciously the way of see things. It's very hard because I was very hardwired the other way. And I've been through that pain, and now with the same or bigger problems, I feel more fulfilled and more happy and more relaxed. If you feel okay with you, that's half the way, because you will have good relationship with yourself, and then with your son, with your spouse, with your cousin, with your partners, with your clients, so forth. So I think it's a curse or a blessing in order to which side you pick, because I've been in both, and I'm always working on it every morning. If I like wake up and I say, oh, I have this, like I used to, like thinking all that it's wrong in my life, or waking up thinking what I should be grateful in my life, but it's okay in my life. Starting for, I woke up, I have a roof, I have hot water. Okay, then you start feeling like positive and you start seeing opportunities, even if you have problems. Everyone has problems. I think the richest man in the world, the poorest man in the world, everyone has problems. Not the same, I think. Even having perspective, right? No, that's not, it's not something that basic. We need to understand that every context is different. But yeah, I think you can create your own hell or your own heaven.
How did you identify the need for digital transformation here in Mexico and LATAM? Because I know you're not limited by the border.
I lived it. I lived the need for a system that worked, the need for do something systematically in my company, and then didn't know how to start, where to find a tool, how to establish processes, controls. Even if you are like taqueria, like small food place, well, those things, food businesses are very complex, and you need to have this structure. If you don't have it, you can't grow. Like McDonald's, your business, and not saying like doing something in industrial. Like you can have your own identity, your quality, your differentiators. But you need to have something that it does not depends on you. It's like your child. If he depends on you, that's not a good job. If you have a company and it depends on you, that's not a good job. Nobody's going to, well, not nobody, but not everyone's gonna to invest in something that relies on a person that can die, can get sick, can get depressed. You invest in something that continuously, like systematically, creates values. So yeah, I learned from my first by first hand And I thought, okay, if I just fix this, how many people can get benefit from it? And it was a bunch. But I started like very broad, like everyone who needs it. And that was a mistake. I needed to get laser focused on a segment like small and medium enterprises in these areas. Like, for example, it's not the same like selling software, like an ERP software, or saying like this is the ERP for small and medium nail salons, small and medium like optics companies, because you have this, you can see the context, how to use it, how you can project yourself with the tool, and you have these testimonials, and that helped me to create this compounded effect. It's like when you start, the juice doesn't worth the squeeze, right? Like you're working and working and you don't have the first client, and after the first client, the second is very hard to get. But then you start like having this compound effect, like Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect. I liked it a lot because it's like these wheels. You start like pushing very like it's very heavy, and then you have momentum and you can get up the toil, the wheel. So I think it's the same thing in business. When you start, like it's heavy. It's even in a new segment. For big companies or small companies, we have seen a lot of failures. Like companies, they thought like, okay, now I can start with food, and I am Colgate. They had this toothpaste and then pasta. It was like, whoa, how did you think? How you came with that? And yes, I think every start it's heavy, and you need to understand how to create this momentum and to bear enough time and to learn until you reach it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you identified this opportunity in your own business.
Yeah.
You needed digital transformation. You needed this support. So you did it for yourself, and then you realized, oh wow, everybody else also needs the same thing, and so you focused on that and providing that service to others.
Mm-hmm. And that passioned me. I think the first thing it was, oh, this is nice. This is awesome because I can like create a system, not only a software system, like a system that works by its own, like raising a child, like it's independent, not a self employment, right? Oh, and not employee is the worst employee. Being the founder and the worker and the guy that pitches, that catches, that everything. Even if you have a lot of co-workers, it's heavy because no one has the stakes like you have. So yes, I first started with this idea like, okay, I like it. And then, okay, this can be replicated for other companies? Yes. And then, okay, can I achieve this? Because I'm not a technical developer, but I started like doing stuff and learning and getting people, and then created the solution, and it was very like open solution, and then we narrow it commercially in order to have more traction and conversions rate. Yeah.
So you had this idea, you figured out how to build a system. How did you go about finding your first clients? Were they, friends or people that you already knew in business, or was it fresh? How did you go about that?
I started like sending messages with my network, like trying to find clients from everywhere. And then when I started doing some projects, then I started to finding a structure in order to get the clients. And I'm doing like products in different like long tail. We have this because we're focused on the long tail in the market. Like small and medium enterprises, and in segments that are not very serviced, not very served. And like I search in Google, like how many searches are on software for mechanics, software for clinic, software for optics. And then I find like, okay, there's a bunch in Mexico looking for this. Who's the player? Who are the players? And you can search everything. So I search softwares for that segments, and I figure out if they are like the same kind of solution from like us, or if we are capable to have something new in that playground. And almost every time we find an opportunity, because it's not only the software. I think the software is the media for getting a result, and the result is a whole service. You need to have these configurations, assessments, helping people, because they are people who is working all the time. They are like small and medium enterprises. It's a very particular profile. So if you understand that profile, like I'm not having life to handle my business. If you've been there, like I've been there, I think you can find the right insights to offer the right tool or the right solution, because I think the tools is like a triple. Yeah, why you have this brand on another brand? Because you can rely on your result, your project. When you travel a lot, on a good one or a bad one, they do the same, but you can rely on the good one. I think something like that. I don't know how to explain well, but
Perfectly.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you already have the technical knowledge that you needed to be able to implement these solutions in your clients' businesses, or was that something that you had to learn?
I hired people who are experts on it, focused on like how's the name of the guy with the
Conducting.
conducting the team, like even with the solutions, the insights, to first from the insight to get a pain, and then to translate to a solution, a flow, and then to a tool. I think from an abstract to something specific, right? So, okay, people are not willing to do this. But if we have an LLM like ChatGPT, and we connect through an intention, and then we have a command to our platform, and then through WhatsApp, because they work, 90% works on WhatsApp in the small and medium enterprises. Huge enterprises, no, they try to do it with process, emails, authorizations. And the small and medium enterprise, or small and micro enterprises, they do it all the time. Like they are always connected, and they are sending voice notes and texting. How can we get an ERP, like a software for managing your business, through WhatsApp, through the media you already work? And so that was a challenge, and that was my main focus. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
How and when did you find your first success? Maybe it was validation from a client that you did a really good job for them. And I guess, when did that happen that you knew this is the right thing to do?
I found one client from LinkedIn message, and he ended up like accepting to try the tool, and he was like, okay, this is awesome. I also have the luck that he has like 20 establishments for the same company. So I started with 20 trying to solve, to connect it to, and with a bunch of people, because every establishment like had 5 people. So we started with a good amount of users and challenges, and then I realized, okay, if I do it something like this systematically, in how many clients do I need to get break even, and how many do I need to start, like, stop worrying about selling more, but start, because you can sell this for the same client more and keeping them, and the clients start selling for you. I think, well, creating an ecosystem for me, it's like you don't need to push that hard. It's already an ecosystem. Like when you have una pecera, when there's a pond with fishes, okay, maybe you have just the pond, the base, you put water, you put something, and then you just need to keep that working. So that's when I realized that, okay, maybe that's the system that I want to create, the company, not an self-employment, but a company. And we haven't get there yet. I think it's always a
Work in progress.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, you mentioned you lived in Europe and you lived in California for some time, and now you're building your business in Mexico. You've experienced these businesses in other regions. What do you think is different about building in Mexico?
Oh, it's different because the infrastructure, as you might see, it's different from other countries or first world countries. Like we're a developing country. I think that's the most important thing. Security. If you have any kind of business in Mexico, maybe you had an experience related to security, to the infrastructure. You need to pay to get stuff that it's supposed to be given by the country, and that makes us like very afraid to do business, and because people take advantage, or you need like to figure it out, like a salmon, like swimming against the stream. I'm not saying that there's like in this city, in this region, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of businesses and opportunities. But in US, I think, in California, because US is very different in many regions. California, they are very open. They are very like willing to invest in order to try. Here, many people try to have the result before to try. Like, yeah, I will invest only if you give me this result. But how? If I can assure that, I will go with the bank. I will not come with venture capital. So venture capital. In the United States, you have venture capital. And in Europe, I think, well, I lived in Italy. It was during university, so I just realized that people try to live first than to work. And in the United States, you need to work to live. Because in Italy, you will find like closing stores. Like right here, we have 24/7 stores, right? In every corner. And in Italy, even if you are in Rome, Milan, you will find huge stores closing to eat. I don't know, to take your breakfast, and they are very conscious about it. So sometimes I think in America, we're more like American style in the north, like here, and in the south, and yeah, I think they're more like willing to have commodity, yeah, prioritizing, being comfortable rather than being like in this rush that northern people we have, right? I think something like that idea.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Do you think because there are these extra hoops to jump through or complexities to build in Mexico, where capital is not flowing as freely, et cetera, you have to prove more, whatever the case may be, that it builds more resilience in the
Totally.
founder?
Yeah, I think so because, and you need to be more like, um, how like not smart, but like aware of your environment because you need to get take care of many things, more things than in other countries, and you need to have more variables than in other countries. I'm not saying that it's more difficult. I think you need to take care of other things, and that's difficult in terms of cash flow when you're starting, because you need to pay for more things in order to get good quality in resources. I think that's the main thing. In other terms, um, it's a huge economy. People spends a lot. There's they're open to try things. I think artists in Latin America, they come to Mexico and then explodes, like in the rest of the world. Or the Latin American artist, Mexico is like a trampoline for them, because I think even the geographical location and resources, we have enough resources that maybe that make us to rest because in the south we have like, okay, territory, natural resources, and some other countries that don't have even half or a third of that, like Japan, I think, Portugal. There are small countries and so on, but they have this. I think in Japan, I've never been there. I never worked with Japanese people, but I've seen cultural. They are very resilient. They've had tsunamis, earthquakes, wars, etc., and they're very resilient guys. Also, I saw it in Peru. Uh, they created this culinary culture they didn't have. They created. So I think if a country coordinates, can create a cluster, like, or create a culture around something. Like in India, they're very good in mathematics because they have this infrastructure of creating good people for that. I don't know if that's correct to say, but I've seen a bunch of countries doing something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And the good people idea, and this is something you mentioned earlier, was finding the right people so that you can kind of focus on the vision and you have these technical people in your case to execute. How do you go about finding the right people to surround yourself with, to hire, to ensure that your vision is carried out to the best of its ability?
I think that's the most difficult part because I don't have an answer. It's like I rely on processes, but kind of luck to finding the right person, because sometimes I think in an interview, well, you it's like when you're meeting a new girl and you're just knowing a very like superficial part. But the truth comes when you're working, when you have these troubles, when you don't have enough results and cash flow and so forth, and they're like drowning. There's where you see the real resilient people, because you can say it, type it, like, yeah, I'm very resilient. I'm very um, objective focus and so on. But if your life depends on it, like your project, your well-being, like your economy depends on it, not everyone are willing to take the risk, to like to bet on the project, because in the other hand, I think in a startup you don't have the same perks like a huge company. Different and maybe more valuable perks like stock options, like even better payments, but you can go bankrupt in 1 year, and in the huge company you can be there like 20 years, but you can't grow as fast as in a startup. So I think you need to have this startup mentality in order to and be very aware that you need to pick. You can have all. It's like you want fast growth, being like taking in count for resolutions, or working together, very agile with these kind of perks like stock options, and or you want an corporate structure where in 5 years you can apply for another a higher post, and you need to have these connections inside, because there's like a community. It's like a small cities, a small countries. You need to have these ways to figure out, or you're more focused on results, dynamics. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's like it's done.
Yeah. It's just like anything else, right? You have to figure it out. You along the way, you pivot and you change and you figure it out.
Yeah.
Whatever works. Yeah. You mentioned that a significant part in your entrepreneurship journey was a mindset shift, right? And you mentioned spirituality and those sort of things too. And if you could give advice to help the people listening to this conversation, that whatever it was that you learned later, so that they can learn it now, what would you say to, somebody who's starting their business for the first time, a piece of advice that would be really valuable to them?
I think enjoy the ride. And it's like, it's not my first rodeo. I have a bunch of troubles and problems, and if you are like not letting out, leaving the luster, like a balloon, when you need to take off the heavy weight. I don't know how to say in English. If you don't do it, you will not make it, because it's like the river. Enjoy it. If you fall down and you just get wet, it's like, okay, laugh about it and try to learn about it. Yes, I think that's the best advice, because rather than you can find a bunch of gurus in marketing, businesses, financials. We are in great times with the artificial intelligence. You can have like the best consultant typing in your computer. But I think we're losing the focus on enjoying the ride and understanding that we do not control what happens, but we control what we think and how we affront the things that happen to us. I know it sounds very generic, but yeah, you can see it. Like if you fell down and you think that you're a failure because you fell down, like you stumble, that's a problem, because no, you can have a perfect life. And I was like having this score in my life, like, okay, having good grades, getting a good college, and traveling and doing stuff. And I was like, yeah. And then I realized that I was more concerned about it than enjoying it. And now I'm enjoying every small thing, and at least I'm happier. And I think if you're like more confident, you're happier, and you're more focused, and you have a vision, a true vision for your life, a purpose, you will do better sports, business, everything. I don't know. I'm not. I like sports, but that's not my career. But I think that would be my career. I need to be okay mentally in order to have a good performance. I think it's the same. That's my strongest card in business, and that's the tip or the advice that I would give for everyone that is in this journey, because it's very dynamic journey. I've seen even in US people that it's having problems with the startups with a bunch of money, like a lot of investment, but losing it all, or having a lot of problems, or not living, not being happy. And I think we are here like 100 years. I think that's a lot, but imagine that's very short period of time. If you do it in weeks, in hours, it's like, okay, you're running out. And that's thinking you can get there. Maybe tomorrow I'm out of here. So I think having that perspective helps you to take serious your life, your business, your family, but having conscious that being grateful, and yeah.
What's the point if you don't enjoy it, right?
That's it. Because it's a ride. So enjoy the ride. If you don't enjoy it, you will suffer. And I think there's no enough money or anything in the world, because it's a period of time. So what we do here, huge or small, I've been feeling like, okay, I'm not famous. I'm not following that, but I feel very full. Yeah, if I die tomorrow, I can die full. And before, when I was like following the carrot like a horse, that wasn't cool. And I didn't feel full like I feel now. And maybe I have less results, but I'm in the path to having results. So, or at least I see it. And if I have enough time, I know I will get it, because I'm iterating all the time. And that's why I told you in the beginning, like, I'm always working because I'm always thinking about my project in life. And part of my project in life is work. It's the business. So, and my business is part of my identity, not in terms of the branding or in the company, in terms of what I'm looking to create. Like I said, a child. Yet you try to do something that depends on itself, like grows and goes and finds his way. I sold one company, well, very recently, and yeah, it's great. It's like, okay, I finished something. Maybe it wasn't the unicorn and nothing like that, but I took a project from an idea to an exit, and I took a project from an idea to a great business. And what I maybe failed is like I just pivot, like from a business that was working, leaving it like now like jumping the river, and that's hard. I wasn't like maybe to measure the idea to contrarrestar, like to yeah to like in a balance. It's better to think smartly. Like I just left this company. Like, okay, now I don't want to work with huge companies because they pay me in 120 days. They want rebates annually. And now I will work with the small and medium enterprises. that was a huge move. And I was like, I had worries that maybe I could prevent in order to have a more smooth transition. I think you need to sometimes also to rest, to think, because I'm very emotional and trying to in that, because I get excited and then okay, I will do it, and I'll burn my bridges. And no, hold your horses.
Tranquilo, relax.
Yeah, tranquilo. You can have this business because you created that business. You created that system. It can work, and let it be. I used to think like, no, I need to my main focus here and close everything else. Okay, maybe not that far. Well, everything depends on your context. I think that's the something that we not see very often in the internet, because everyone has an answer. And what I want to say is no one has an answer in anything. I think everything depends on the context, the very exact context of everyone. We can have different perspectives and context and create our own structure to handle with things, right? It's like we're creating, we are not always coming from nowhere. We're always coming from the teachers, the guys that created the code, they created the company, yeah, previous experiences, and everyone, the infrastructure that it's made for us, like the computers. We could not be a tech company without the guys that made the computer. So I think, yeah, understanding your context, your vision, your purpose, and get the ride, like trying to enjoy it as more. I've seen people with huge problems being happy, with no legs, with no sight, with no huge things, and they are full. And I've seen people with a bunch of blessings not being like awful. Like you can feel it, like just being around, like they are not even calm, they are not even happy. So I think that's the main thing. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter if you are in food, logistics, and anything. I think you need to having a startup, because you can have a bunch of money and start a new company. It's different, the context, I think. So in startup companies, yeah, you need to be, in any career, you need to be very focused, very strong mentally.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it teaches us, right? That's what business does.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does success look like to you?
It changed a lot in the last years. Now it's being owner, or have my own
Ownership?
ownership for my own time and resources. The time, I think time, it's success for me. Like, okay, I want to right now go to Chipinque, go to there, do this, do that. Yeah, the time and liberty, freedom. Yeah, that's success for me. I know it sounds romantic, but actually that is having the liberty, the freedom to do stuff. And that comes with financial, with stability, with many things. Even if you have or don't have family, you can have this, freedom, or being like caged with a bunch of resources. Like being I've seen, like, I will say Avicii, a great guy doing amazing stuff and killing himself in a tube bath. Or I think success is to being okay in your own skin, and for me, it's to have the ability to do the things that I want. And I would, if I would get billionaire, I would start doing projects like hardware projects, like learning things, like trying new instruments or sports, or because I like to start stuff, to try to start to and to keep doing it. But I think when you learn to know yourself, I'm very like stutter. I try to try things to understand things like, because I studied something and I ended up doing a bunch of other things. Yeah, like any startup guy. Yeah. So I think that my success is really like, I want to be on the beach and being calm, and I'm very like old guy dream. I think, but I live. Yeah, I live, and not only maybe in Vegas or mountain or Paris or, yeah, but being free, enjoying every single moment, because I've been in amazing places, being worried about business, about people, about myself, about my image, about everything, and not enjoying it. So what I think my success is with being present. Very, very sad. But yeah, being in the present moment, living and being free to do whatever. Like you guys, like driving from many places, and okay, now we want to go there and go. Wow, that's amazing. I was telling my wife, like, that's awesome, an awesome project. Like coming from Alberta, I think.
Yeah.
And then to Austin, and okay, let's go to Monterey, and then now to San Luis. Wow, that's great. And meeting people, knowing people, that's awesome. I like a lot of guys who review tech stuff, because I love it. And if I can, like, buy stuff on Amazon and then open it, try it, and have earn money doing it, wow, that's awesome. I think that would be a hobby for me to, when I if I get enough ¿cómo se dice? Retirarse, when you retire.
Yeah.
When you retire, I would do it like, just like a project, because I love the review channels of tech things.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think success, well, a large part of it is the ability to do what you want, and in the right mindset is the key there, right? Yeah, beautiful.
Yes, I think it sounds very generic, because in one time of my life, when I heard that, I always thought like, oh, boring. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, and but then life takes you there, and I think that's why. Okay, not always with age, but with experience and travel and starting businesses and meeting people and getting like regándola, la decimos aquí, when you fuck up something. I think that's correct to say, like, you have a mistake, being mistaken, but playing, like doing. If you are like, okay, I don't want to fail in anything, to have a problem, don't play, don't come. Like, if you're afraid to die, don't get born, right? Something like that.
Yeah. I think it's funny, like sometimes the best advice sounds generic because it's so true, because there's a reason why, it's said and repeated so many times, is because it's true.
That's great way to see it, because it's simple, not easy, but it's simple. It's like, enjoy the ride. And we see the sticker bumps.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, and we are like, yeah, cool phrase. But if you think about it, it's like the way to, it's a life hack, I think. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much for coming here. Thank you for this conversation. It's been incredible, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me and for the opportunity to talk with you guys. Great. Thank you.